Hey guys, and welcome back to Movie Files. Elliot here, Morgan here, and we are here to give you guys our thoughts on the movie Tully, which stars Charlize Theron, Mackenzie Davis. It's directed by Jason Reitman, who has some pretty good titles that we're both fans of. 2009's Up in the Air, 2007's Juno, so definitely some films that we're a fan of. So let's jump right into it. So this is a non-spoiler review, so if you guys never seen one of our reviews before, especially when there's no spoilers, we just touch a little bit on the story, performances we like, dislikes about the movie, and then we finish up with our score. So before we get into this, I showed you this trailer it feels like months ago. The movie kind of fell on the radar, but it's Mother's Day, perfect timing of the year. Definitely recommend to check it out for mothers. But let's touch a little bit on the trailers initially. When you saw the trailer, it had some comedy elements and just
I remember her dropping the phone on the baby, and that was like funny, not funny, but so I remember that. And then I feel like it kind of slipped under the radar. There's not a ton of exposure I don't feel on this movie, which is understandable. It's not like a blockbuster by any means, but
but I mean, a perfect time of the year. It comes out Mother's Day. So again, let's just kind of jump into some positives. So I'll just start with, across the board, you have Ron Livingston, who's in The Office Space. I love that movie. Mark Duplass, and also there's some younger kids in this movie. This movie
do a really
has
job.
Charlize Theron's kids are great, but I really want to touch on two performances in general. So just rewind a little bit. The story takes place. It follows Charlize Theron. She's a mother of three. She's a newborn. Mackenzie Davis character as Tully comes in has kind of relieved some stress, relieved some pressure, and we kind of touch on that story. So Mackenzie Davis, number one, is so great. And little things I've seen her in, like Blade Runner 2049, she had a small role, but a really good role. We've seen her in Black Mirror, where she had a whole episode.
Yeah, that's what I remember her from. And she did a phenomenal job in that, and also did a really great job in this. So
and also I'm looking forward to this young lady's career because she's going to be leading in Terminator next year. So I'm just so excited about her career. But in this movie, like you were just saying, she does such a great job of just playing a free-spirited, just kind of nice person. A lot of layers to her character. I really enjoy her performance. But our number one, our lead of this movie, who's going to draw in the box office, and you see her name, and she definitely brings in box office money. Charlize Theron as Margot in this movie, as the mother, as the wife. You just see the frustration in her eyes at times. You see the motherhood, things that mothers go through at times, and she just did a great job. She put in a lot of work. You can just tell. She's put on 35 pounds for this movie, and she always does these things where she really commits to the role, like Monster when she won an Academy Award. She was just a knockout of the park for Charlize Theron.
Absolutely. She did such a good job on all fronts. Her relationship with each individual character, I just felt really hit. And it felt very real.
Exactly. And that's another point, a positive for me. This, you see our channel now, we have big blockbuster movies and we have the quieter films, but I love when we get into a film we didn't really have expectations for and you walk out just so surprised. And that's really a big thing. This movie has a lot of layers. It touches on, motherhood, which is different from everyone, but there's a lot of things that mothers go through that, we don't see behind doors. We're not parents. We have a dog, but we have nieces and nephews, and we see them part-time. We don't see them full-time. So it touches on motherhood, touches on depression and postpartum. There's so many layers.
It also touches on the role of a mother versus the role of a father, kind of the way we depict it to be. So I thought that was really great too.
Definitely.
I enjoyed that as
Definitely. And also, too, just kind of touching on just the wittiness of this film. This had some great comedic moments. Again, the writer and director have teamed up before in Juno, and they just have such a dynamic. It's not like belly-punching laughs, but it's just nice laughs. Again, it brings levity to the film. It brings reality to the film because there's things that there's a lot of things we can relate to in this film. Again, not being parents or mothers, but it's just this film has a lot of relatability to it. It's growing up, about coming of age. This has a lot of layers to it.
It also because I have three sisters who are all mothers, and obviously I have my own mother, but it gave me a newfound, I also have a sister-in-law, but anyway, that all have kids. I'm the only one without, but it gave me a newfound respect for mothers and what they do, and kind of behind the scenes.
Definitely the responsibility of being a mom.
And really, just seeing another thing that the movie touched on was kind of like losing yourself when you become a mother, and having to find that part of you again, definitely. Which I've seen firsthand from siblings definitely. And such. So it was definitely very, very relatable movie, I'm sure, for many women, I hope, and also just parents in general. So
definitely. Another thing I want to touch on before we kind of touch on our negatives is this film did something really unique where, I'm not giving too much away, but there was two things that it invoked in me. Number one, I don't want kids. Like Morgan brought up, there's some moments in the movie where you just see Charlize Theron, we're just like, oh my goodness, if I had a kid, I don't know. Our dog is just crazy enough for us.
Right.
But then it did something, it spin it on its head. There's a point in the movie where you're just like, okay, I know what the hype is about being a parent. The love that your kid gives you, the moments you have with your kid. And I mean, it's you, it's your DNA, it's you. You see yourself in them, and you take what you learn from your parents, and you try to do a remix of that. So it's just, the film does a beautiful job of displaying not just motherhood, but just being a parent, responsibility, which I thought was great. So touching a little bit on negatives without getting too much in the story, I personally enjoyed the first two halves. I thought the first two halves of the movie was like one of my favorite films of the year. The second half, third act kind of didn't work for me. But again, I saw where it went. There were some things in the second act where I was like, why would they do that? But then it kind of, answered that at the end. But I would say that the first two acts were more enjoyable for me than the third. Was there anything in particular that you...
Nothing really. Yeah. I mean, there was a scene that was felt a little awkward for me, but then it made sense. Definitely. Later on. Right. But no, I mean, I felt it had a lot of positives. I think one thing I really enjoyed the most was seeing Charlize Theron and her relationship build with Mackenzie Davis' character. Tully, that Margot and Tully, that was probably my most enjoyable part of the movie.
Definitely. So again, not a lot of negatives, guys. I mean, like I said, my thing's a little nitpick because they actually kind of answer something I didn't like in the second half, in the third act. But all in all, from beginning to end, it's a good movie. And again, this comes out on Mother's Day, right? I didn't even put two and two together. Take your mothers to go see this, and don't just drop them off the theater. Go with them, enjoy this movie. This is a very, again, a relatable film. Even if you're not a parent, I feel like you can find something in this story. Yeah, in this movie.
Honestly, I teared up a bit. There's some emotional moments. You did too, but I know I did a couple of times. Because you saw her
raw emotion.
And you saw her as a mother to three kids at three different stages in their life, three very different kids, and there were definitely some tears.
I mean, there's a moment, and again, not giving too much away, but there's a moment where Charlize Theron, one of the kids, has a little bit of difficulties in school. Not difficulties in school, but just some things that people are adjusting to, and they address something like that. I mean, again, this movie has a lot of different layers that I really enjoyed. So with that being said, I'm going to start off with my score. I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5.
I'm giving it a 4.5 as well.
Yeah, and then like I said, the second
act, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and for me, like I said, not giving it a full 5 just because that second act for me, the third act. But all in all, 4.5 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5 for more. We recommend to check it out. Again, this comes out on Friday, May 4th. Check it out for Mother's Day weekend. Again, don't just drop the mom off and say, okay, I'm going to see Infinity War, which you should see because it's a phenomenal movie. But go enjoy this movie with your mom. Go it as a family. Go in it by yourself because, again, you can find little bits and pieces in the story and relate to. So definitely recommend to check it out. So with that being said, guys, we got a poll question for you. What will you be seeing this Mother's Day? What will you do for Mother's Day with this weekend coming up? Are you going to take your mom out, take her out to go eat, celebrate, or what have you? So just answer that poll question. Do you have plans for Mother's Day? Because we certainly do. We're going to definitely shout out to our moms out there for bringing us in the world, taking care of us. So anyway, with that being said, check out other content on our channel. We just did a Infinity War non-spoiler, spoiler review, which you guys can find on our channel pretty soon. Our movie bucket list is out as well, so check that out. As always, like this video, share, comment below on what you thought of the movie if you've seen it, or if you haven't seen it, let us know what you thought of our review. And as always, subscribe to our channel. We have so much great content that we love to give to you guys. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Stardust for our reactions for things like movies and shows. So definitely follow us there. As always, guys, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next video.